Hello, everybody. Jay Real here, and I thought I would just do another Hangout show, and hopefully, going to have somebody joining me because if I'm alone on a Hangout show, then this is going to be a pretty short show. uh, but yeah, I need somebody to talk to. Hopefully, I've sent the link to a few folks, so we'll see if we got some folks joining me. But anyway, uh, today is my birthday, September 12th, 1965. That's when I was born. And I'm 59 years old. And just saying those words, I know it's true, but it's just almost impossible to believe that I am that close to 60 years old. It just almost doesn't have any reality to it to me. It's just, that's a cliche about how time going by so fast, but it really is true. It's just insane that we're already in the middle of September in 2024. It's just crazy. And but anyway, yeah, thinking about 59 years. You think how long it takes for a year to go by, 365 days, 59 times is just, oh, crazy, crazy, crazy. And I have got someone joining me for the first time. And some of you folks may know who this is, but this is from Fast Custom Shirts, Joe Garcia.
Hey, hey,
Hey, Joe. What do you
how's it
know?
going, man? Been a while.
It's been a year. Uh, uh, yeah,
Yeah,
because I had the show with Uncle Bill and CK and you.
another
Uh,
birthday show. That's right.
yeah, on my last birthday show. It was the last time I actually talked to you. You know, actually talked to you.
Yeah,
Uh,
man.
yeah, but this is Joe Garcia of Fast Custom Shirts, uh, and he does a lot of movie related stuff, horror related stuff. So you guys need to go to Fast Custom Shirt if you haven't, and check out his inventory and the stuff. He just the kind of movies that you do shirts for, a lot of obscure stuff. It's pretty much anything you can think of as far as you know a movie, or a horror movie. He does a lot of horror films, um, but of course he does custom shirts, custom printing. Does a great job. Um, you still do for Frightmare Weekend?
Yes, I do. Yeah. So them, a lot of other conventions throughout all over the place, man. Yeah, but fuck that. Happy birthday. That's what I'm here for. To say happy
Well,
birthday.
might as
It's
well
like,
might as well sell some shirts, like I say. Because
how old are you now, Jay? Like
I am 59 years old. Uh,
59. Wow. I mean, a lot of us had a poll going. Didn't think you'd make it with all the gallivanting and the hucksterism and just everything you
oh,
do.
oh my God, yeah. September 12th, 1965.
Yeah.
Like I said before I brought you on, it just even saying the words. I know the words are true, but it can't. I can't really put any real solid fact in my brain. Uh, 59 years is just. Oh. You think about going through a year, 365 days times 59. just just the very concept of that is just unbelievable. You know, and I'm fortunate that I don't feel it. I don't feel 59, um, and I'm astounded by how many kids in my graduating class are dead that
Yeah.
have passed away.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm starting to see a lot of that too as you get older. Actually, what I'm seeing, I mean, I'm looking at myself right now, so I probably shouldn't make this comment, but like how much like shit a lot of my classmates look. You know, they look awful. They look like they're on their deathbed.
Oh
You know?
my God! And yeah, you saying that there there was a girl in my class. I was at HEB, it was a grocery store here in Bahia. Uh, and there was a girl. I was in the checkout line. The girl behind me, hey, J Real, and I turn around, and I swear I thought I was looking in the face of a 65-year-old woman. I swear, And I thought, this an old, it's a nice old lady. And she goes, I was sure, remember Sherry Stone Cipher? I was in your class. And it's like, oh my God, hey, Sherry. Of course, I didn't recognize her, but it's like, oh my God, just um, what the years have done. Oh my God. Um, you know, I mean, we all age and we all, of course, things are different. You got a white beard now, and,
Yeah.
yeah, we all go through changes, but oh my God, some of it is just, like you say, it's just like, what in the world happened? uh, um, but yeah, and we got some comments here. Let me let's see. Got a bunch of happy birthdays. My sister is here. Hey sis. Hey Jay and Joe. She says. Um, and Kathy says I bought a Critter shirt a little while ago, and I love you. Christmas gift for son-in-law.
All right.
Yeah.
Good deal. Yeah. Thanks for making that purchase. Anybody watching or whatever, if you've ever purchased anything from me, thanks so much, because you keep me from going out and having to get a real job. So sustaining what I do. So couldn't do it without all the customers out there. Thanks a whole lot. And I'm not just joking around. That is from deep from my heart.
Well, and I had said this recently is that if you can make a living doing what you enjoy, uh, then you're doing something great. If you're putting food on the table and paying your rent and all that, doing something you actually enjoy doing. Uh,
Yeah.
that's the dream. And if you're able to do that, then that's great. How many years have you done this? How many years has Fast Custom Shirt been around?
I don't know. I always look it up every time the anniversary comes around, and that's sometime in January, but I think I'm edging in like maybe 17, 18 years now. It's been a long time. So uh, I don't a lot of the time I just, I go to work every day. It's something I do every day, so I don't look at it so much as an accomplishment, but I have other people like my wife mainly that reminds me, hey, you've got, two locations. You've sustained this for however long it is, 17, 18 years. So it's hard to see something when it's right in front of you every day,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's something, it's a long time.
yeah, yeah. Uh, and well, yeah, of course the Dead Pit guys. You've done shirts for them.
Mhm.
You did the Dawn. One of my favorite shirts is the Dawn shirt that you did for my movie Dawn. Um, that's actually one of my favorite just designs that you did.
Yeah, I still wear that from time to time. Mine's still in good shape, and that's
Yeah.
14
Uh,
years old. So
but yeah, you guys go to Fast Custom Shirt, check out Joe stuff. And let's see. And Texas HX CX 1965, same year I was born. And happiest of birthdays, Jay. Thank you, Texas. Thank you, sir. Uh, sure appreciate that. It has been a pretty uneventful. Didn't go anywhere, do anything. But I want to show you this. I'll be right back. Entertain the folks while I'm gone.
all right. So what Jay didn't mention is that I also have a podcast, and it's Boy Gob, the Boy Gob podcast. You can go to, what is it, YouTube? Yeah, YouTube, and search boygob.com, and you'll see all the stuff we have. Even though not everything's on there, we've been doing it for like 6 years or so, and quite a while. But
How many physical stores do you have?
I have two. I have one in Garland, which is right outside of Dallas, and then I have a Corpus Christi store. For those of you that aren't aware, that's very South Texas. So they're about 7 hours apart. So I rarely get down to Corpus as much as I'd like to.
Do you do the majority of your business actual customers coming in and ordering shirts, or do you do it mostly online?
Well, now I think every business that does stuff like I do, most of your work is online, but it is stuff for local trade, like stuff for local businesses, schools, churches, things like that.
Yeah,
That's the majority of what we do, and that's really what pays our bills and sustains us. All the other stuff, like the horror stuff or the goofy shirts, things like that, that's just fun. That's to keep me sane, man. That's what I love doing. That's why I started doing it. But I honestly couldn't sustain my business if I was just doing horror stuff.
yeah, yeah. And you did, of course, you do the Texas Frightmare shirts, Texas Frightmare Weekend, which is a yearly horror convention in Texas.
Yeah.
But you do some other conventions. Is there anything you've got coming up anytime soon?
I do. Let's see. It's coming up. It's real busy, but they're all very small shows, very like October pop-ups and everything. I've got one that's in a mall in San Antonio that's been going on for like, I don't know, maybe 12 years, maybe longer. It's a show that's free to the public, and it's pretty cool. After that, I got some local stuff. In fact, Lloyd at Texas Frightmare Weekend, he's going to have a little pop up at his store. He's got an actual physical location other than just the convention now.
Oh.
And then Houston Horror Film Festival, they do a pop up the weekend before Halloween, and that show has grown a whole lot. That show, wow, man! This past year it was just busy, busy, busy. So it's up there like I'd say Frightmare now. It's like one of the better shows in the U.S.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I wanted to show this real quick. My neighbors got their elderly couple. They don't drive a car. They drive a motorcycle, or they got a couple of motorcycles. They get to town, get groceries and things like that. But anyway, their daughter does custom cakes and pies and stuff. And they brought me a chocolate pie. Yeah, they brought me a homemade chocolate pie that their daughter made for my birthday. So,
Is that your favorite?
actually, my favorite pie is pecan.
Okay.
And they one time brought me a pecan pie, and they brought me cakes. Yeah, but yeah, but their wedding anniversary is on September 12th. So, so and it's their 60th wedding anniversary, and I turned 59. So they've been married 1 year longer than I've been alive. So, but let me go put this back in the fridge. I'll be right back.
Yeah, for sure. Like Jay probably is if they gave him a pie. I prefer pie over cake, and my favorite is apple. So if you ever come visit me, you can just bring me one of those little Hostess fried pies from any convenience store, because I eat the hell out of those things, man. Those things are great, and they've sustained me on many a road trip. Yeah, I don't know what else. Oh, Jay's back.
Well, let's do some catch up here on comments we've got. We got the people just saying hello to each other. And Kathy says, I let everyone know last night you weren't feeling well and you got well wishes. Huh. I don't know if she's talking about me, because I didn't say that. So I don't know who she's talking about. Texas, I think, is talking about Kathy. Okay. And Kathy says, Texas, how sweet, much better today. Okay. Okay. Good deal. Yeah, I like, my favorite is pecan, but I love apple. I like pumpkin. I like sweet potato. Oh gosh, chocolate. I'm trying to think. Yeah. So, uh, but Mama would always make every year, Thanksgiving and Christmas, make pecan pie, because she knew I love pecan pie. We all like pecan pie, but that was always my favorite.
I can only eat just a little bit of it at a time because it's so damn sweet. It's like my teeth will start hurting because I don't eat a whole lot of sweets.
It is sweet, yeah. But And tomorrow is Friday the 13th. So,
Yep.
any play? And also talk about the show you do, the
Oh,
streaming show that you do.
the Boy Gob show is just me and Tom Martino, who is dwnproductions.net. Check out his website. He makes custom masks, and he just makes a bunch of cool masks, man. I met him at Frightmare, I don't know how many years ago, and we just have the same sort of humor. We just maybe a bit offensive for some people, but it's all, in play. We're not very serious about some of the things we say. We review all kinds of stuff, and what's cool about is our show is we don't like the same things. We have very, very different views, so there's usually a lot of he'll give you the negative on something that I like, and vice versa. So it's cool, it's interesting. Sometimes it's not so great. Sometimes we just are not in the mood and we record anyway and it doesn't come off well. You can tell those episodes, but for the most part, we're just having a good time. We're not trying to make any money or any of that shit. We're just you guys talking.
Well, then one thing that I remember is that you did a show talking with the Dead Pit guys, and Uncle Bill in particular is a huge Dawn of the Dead fan. That's like what may be his favorite film.
Yeah,
and I really like Dawn of the Dead. It's not my favorite film, but I really like it. But you don't.
No.
But I was surprised. I watched a recent show they did. They did with Dirk, and they did who's that guy? He's from England or something like that. I forget where he's from. But anyway, they had a little show, and they were talking about Zombie 2, or I always knew it as just Zombie.
Right.
Fulci's Zombie.
Mm-hmm.
But they were comparing Zombie, which was called Zombie 2, to cash in on Dawn of the Dead, but they were comparing Dawn of the Dead to Zombie 2 and what they preferred and that kind of thing. And most of the crowd said they did not like Dawn of the Dead. That was a big surprise. Yeah. Dirk didn't like it. The guy from Britain or whatever, he didn't like it. There was parts of it they liked, but they said for the most part they didn't care for it,
Yeah.
And then of course Uncle Bill was like, I can't believe this. It's just like, but
I just always contend that it's a very boring movie. It's and then it's stupid because it has that pie fight with the bikers and everything, which is dumb.
And of all things to do when there's zombies running around, is to put your arm in a cuff to check your blood pressure. It's like, what's the worst thing in the world to do? The zombies all milling around. He's like, oh shit, I'll check my blood pressure. Just absolutely idiotic, some of the things that were done. But no, I really like it.
Yeah.
I guess the thing with me and Dawn of the Dead is the time I saw it. So I guess a little bit is a little bit of a nostalgia factor, because the first time I saw it was on VHS, and as my friend Mark had turned me on to it, said, have you heard of this? I hadn't even heard of it, because I'd seen Night of the Living Dead, but hadn't heard of Dawn of the Dead, and watched it and just took to it. I didn't mind the slow pace. I didn't mind the blue-faced zombies. I did all that. But I'm a kid too. I'm like
right
12, 13 years old. And so, yeah, I guess a lot of it is kind of a nostalgia factor, but I still enjoy the film. I still enjoy watching it. And
I always tell people, like what you like. It's we always say that on our show a lot. We're gonna put something down. Chances are you like it. It shouldn't change your opinion. If there's something you like it, but just don't expect everybody else to like it. You mentioned the Fulci, the Fulci movies. I liked those when I watched them as a teenager. I thought, man, this is some cool shit. This is what, but now I watch them again and they're just nonsensical, because I've become more somebody that's more involved with story, and his storylines are just all over the place, man. They don't make any goddamn sense if you stop and like really focus on it.
Yeah.
like I appreciate the movies, but I just think they're moments. It's a movie of moments that are like, wow, that was cool, and they're held together by those scores, man. The Goblin
The
and the
Goblin, yeah. Uh,
that really shows you how much music can really make or break a movie.
I was doing it. I was a guest on a show that Dirk does with some other folks, and we were talking about three films that they were on Tubi. Fortunately, they had me watch these films and talked about these three films. One of them was Hell of the Living Dead, and it's all Goblin score, but it's all like from Dawn of the Dead and from other films. It's nothing original,
Yeah.
no original music from Goblin. It's all borrowed music, you know. But it's a zombie film. Hell, it's
That's
okay.
like 12 different names, right?
Yeah, yeah. Hell of the Living Dead. But yeah, I mean, like you say, a movie like that and like Zombie 2,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a cohesive whole. It's moments that are okay, moments that kind of shine, you know, uh,
Yeah.
makeup effects that kind of stick out. Uh, and I've said this recently. I usually don't make lists about, what's my favorite this or, what's number. I say Jaws is my favorite film. I've always said Jaws is my favorite movie. But uh, lately, I'm trying to think, well, what's my favorite horror film? And the one that I watch the most often, I will sometimes watch this film 3 or 4 times a year. Uh, and that's The Thing. Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
that movie, there's few films that I consider perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jaws is perfect, and I think The Thing is perfect. I can't think of a moment in that movie that drags. There's not a shot that's out of place. The makeup, the Rob Bottin's makeup still holds up excellently to me. Uh,
Yeah.
Still looks amazing. And just the way it captures the feeling of paranoia perfectly. Tension, that movie is just tense from beginning to end, and you feel it. You feel it in your gut watching that movie. Uh, I do. Uh, but to me, it's the perfect horror film.
Yeah.
That Carpenter's The Thing. Uh,
It's it's one I watch every year during winter. Yeah, it's outstanding. And I've watched it so many times. It's hard to pick your favorite performance in it because everybody's so damn good. But I think I've narrowed it down to the dog that comes out, and that dog is feels.
it's amazing because it's
Yeah,
running and then it stops and looks, looks over its shoulder and then goes back to running, and it's just like amazing, amazing. Like I say, amazing performance that
yeah.
dog.
And that scene, where he's just looking out the window, just watching things happening. Yeah, it's kick ass, man. That dog.
And then when the guy's in the room, you see his shadow, and you see the dog slowly walking into the room,
Yeah,
and the way it does it so slowly and deliberately, like it's
yeah,
sneaking into the room. And it's a genuine performance, that dog. uh,
yeah. No,
yeah.
that one always seems to hit my number one when it's horror movies. It's like when people ask your favorite, that can change from moment to moment. But man, the thing. Is,
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I say, just the mood it captures, where I'm genuinely unnerved watching the film, and I've seen it 100 times. But like I say, yeah, I mean, I'm still every time I watch it, and I call it one of my comfort films. So a film that I could put on anytime, any day, like Jaws. I could watch Jaws today. I could watch The Thing today,
is
and
Jaws your all-time favorite movie?
Jaws is my all-time favorite.
Okay.
It's the movie I've seen the most times. I saw it because I'm old as fuck. I saw it in the theater in 1975 at the Old Mahia Theater. I sat with a packed audience and watched Jaws. Uh, and when it blew up at the end, everyone stood up and cheered and clapped and screamed. Uh, that thing where you're watching a movie with an audience and you're kind of sharing the experience with the audience, and you feel like you're part of a group. Once again, I think I was 9. You know, like I say, it's 1975. Yeah, I think I was 9 when I saw Jaws.
Well, I think that's changed a lot too in the movie going experience. But then again, I don't go watch movies like the Marvel movies. I think what people tell me is like when they go to see those and something exciting happens, people do still applaud or they're happy for those characters or whatever, and that's cool. It's cool to have that experience in the theaters. But man, I haven't seen anything like that in a long time.
No, me either. I think the last movie I saw, oh God, I'm trying to think because I don't get to go anymore. I don't get to go to see an actual physical movie. I don't have anyone to go with. And my friend Barry passed away a few years ago. He was the one that I would go see movies with. I think the last movie I saw in the theater was Top Gun 2. And that was kind of almost, I felt that a little bit of sort of sharing the experience watching that film. I don't know what you think of the film. I enjoyed it, but I kind of felt the audience grooving on the film.
I have, and I'm not a big fan of the first one, so
yeah.
I think the last time people clapped in a theater that I was in, and I was kind of pissed by it and thought it was stupid, was the Exorcist movie that came out maybe last year, the year before. When Linda Blair comes out at the end, the audience just started clapping. It was like, oh yes, man, it's just fan service.
I saw that movie streaming, and yeah, it was just if there's a worthless film, that film is just pretty much worthless.
Yeah,
worthless. And like I say, Linda Blair appearing at the end, well, it's just like, hey, look, it's Linda Blair. It's just,
yeah, let's throw her in there.
Yeah, let's throw her in there. But let's catch up here. Got a question for you, Joe. Do you still make metal crafts? They are awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do. I don't get to do it as often as I'd like to because all that equipment is in Corpus.
I'm sorry, I want to finish that, but let me add Dirk here. Hey, Dirk. Hey, Dirk. Can you hear me, sir?
We
Dirk?
Can't.
Damn.
There we go.
All right. Let me get my shit together.
This is
All
Dirk from Subjective Perspective Collective. And
yeah, man.
He does a cool show, talking about films. He does a lot of giallo and those kind of films, talking about those kind of films. But he does a really cool show. But anyway, finish your answer there, Joe, about doing the metal crafts.
I don't get down to Corpus as much as I'd like to, but whenever I do, I try to set aside a day just to cut some stuff. It's fun, man. It's hard work, but it's relaxing. It's cool shit.
Yeah, and the detail you do on those things, and the things you do where it's like, when the sun casts a shadow through the metal,
Thank you.
The detail you do on those things is just amazing.
Yeah, I've seen some of that on Facebook. It's pretty cool, man.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, man. Good to see you. I've seen Joe a couple times at Texas Frightmare, and I always grab a couple shirts from over there.
And let's see, we got another. We got Uncle Bill in here. Hey, Uncle Bill. Happy birthday, Jay. Celebrate while watching the greatest horror film ever, Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, shit.
Get Joe started.
Oh, Yawn of the Dead.
Yeah, like I say, Dirk was another one that did. I watched the show that you guys did. You're talking about Zombie 2 and Dawn of the Dead. And
right.
It was just like, except for like Uncle Bill and CK, none of you guys liked Dawn of the Dead. Was, I was really surprised about that, but,
Yeah. I don't know. It just never clicked. Never did. For whatever reason. But happy birthday, Jay, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I got a birthday coming up as well Monday. So that's kind of crazy. But
well, now, Dirk, how's the weather there, or how was the weather there? Because he's in Louisiana, so.
Yeah, I'm North Louisiana though, so that hurricane didn't get near us, And Morgan City, I heard, got hit probably the worst with the flooding and stuff. But as far as the hurricane damage and wind. You know what I mean? It didn't really do a whole lot, but more or less a lot of flooding. But that still sucks for a lot of people. But
Yeah.
But nothing really. We just got some rain, and it kind of cooled down a little bit. But
Yeah, it's been cool here. We got a cold front come in, knock it down in the 50s for a couple of nights, but it's going to get hot again. They're talking about it's going to be, 105, heat index and all that crap in the next few days. But we got a little, sort of a fall, a visit from fall, but then fall's going away and summer's coming back. So,
yeah, it was kind of, I guess, in the 70s, close to 80 today. That wasn't too bad. So.
And let's see here. Sam Crow, favorite Michael Myers mask besides the original. Well, now you get me started on Halloween. So, you guys have a favorite mask?
I mean, I like the Halloween 2. I mean, I know it's the same mask, but it's I guess Deborah Hill's smoking gave it that extra charm, Gave it that tingy kind of smoke.
So, like, I've never
the Dick Warlock stretch mask.
I'm not as big a fan of Halloween, but I agree on you, and it's because of that pumpkin image is always from the poster. And right in the beginning, I always thought that was cool. So when this was out this year at Spirit, man, I had to go get this thing.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's killer. Yeah, man. I mean, and I don't watch Halloween as much as I used to. Growing up, I watched it a ton of times, but all the shit. But yeah, I'm not as big on it now. I guess any of the big franchises, I'm too busy digging into some crazy shit I've never seen.
But I think, once you do those franchises, when you take it that far, it really dilutes the power of the original movie and what made it, so memorable. Like the one that I think should never have been made was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't think it ever should have had a sequel because that's a powerful film, man.
Definitely.
Well, yeah, and of course the sequel is. I mean, I think it's okay, but it's just.
Yeah, I'd be fine if there was just the original.
It's silly,
to be honest.
Part 2 is silly.
I can get with part 2, and it's funny or whatever. But if they just made the one, that'd have been fine. That'd been great.
I noticed that from talking to a lot of people and asking them why, it's that they saw part 2 first before they even saw part 1. So for them, that was the beginning for them, and that's why left such an impression. And that's their movie,
Right. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I was young as hell seeing the original.
Well, here's my slant, and I did last year, I did a what was it? CK had set it up, a Jacking It with Jay show.
Yeah.
And where I had gone most of my life, never seen any of the sequels except for 2. I didn't see, Resurrection and whatever. I didn't see any of those.
Well, it's probably good.
Lucky
I didn't see, because my slant has always been the first film is just for its type. It's just talk about a perfect film. It's almost perfect for its type of film. And I never thought Michael Myers would be an interesting returning character. He was perfect for that film. And at the end, where they go to the window and he's gone and he disappears, that's a perfect ending for that film.
Yeah.
That you don't know what happened to him. He's this like evil that has disappeared, and you don't know where he's gone. You don't, and the ending to that film is perfect to me. And I didn't want to see Michael Myers coming back and coming back and coming back. And for another thing, I think he's an uninteresting franchise character because all he's got is a damn butcher knife. That's all he's got. Yeah, that's you know, and he's just coming back again and again and again. Like you say, dilutes the effect.
Halloween 2 is my favorite though. I mean, out of all the Halloweens, I just like Dick Warlock's Michael. I don't know what it is. It's he's got the Warlock stretch on the mask. His head's a little bigger. The shit's way more brutal. I know it's a lot like Friday the 13th and shit, but I don't know. It's I like the bad wig that Jamie Lee Curtis has got on. But no, I love Halloween and appreciate it for what it is. But part 2 is my favorite of the franchise. But
I can't remember the last time. I used to have it on DVD, an old DVD of Halloween 2, but I haven't seen Halloween 2 in probably 25 years.
Really, both of them together is perfect. If they'd have just did that and left the rest of the shit alone, to me, I don't know. But
and let's see. Kathy says, Jay, your great niece Dot is 10 on the 18th. I gave her your phone number. Yep. Dot. Dorothy. My the character in She Made a Monster, I named after her. Dottie.
Okay.
Because that's her nickname is Dot. And Dottie, her name is Dorothy, but everyone calls her Dot.
Hey, so like you grew up literally in the theater, with your family having a theater there. Was it there in Mejia?
Well, my family didn't have the theater,
No?
but and now it's that thing I did with Dead Pit 20-something years ago, nearly 20 years ago, where I toured the old Mejia Theater, but it's a Mexican church now. And it's been a Mexican church for like close to 20 years. But yeah, they still got they got the marquee, and it got a sleeping Mexican guy on the marquee. He's snoozing. It's got the old Mejia,
Yeah.
but got the old marquee still there. And, the old, cockeyed sign where they would put the name of the movies. And the last movie to show there was The Golden Child, Eddie Murphy's The Golden Child.
Okay.
That was the last movie to show at Maya Theater. But yeah, I grew up, and that was the thing, Mom and Daddy, the picture show. You go to the picture show.
Yeah.
So Saturday night, let's go to the picture show. And,
so I'm an old guy like you, and I remember I lived in Kingsville, Texas, which is a small town also, and one of the theaters there, on Saturday, they would have like a double feature for kids, just so like parents could just drop their kids off and get rid of them, So I saw a bunch of like Ray Harryhausen flicks and like Godzilla movies and Inframan and stuff like that. Did you guys have anything like that?
Yeah, and they would be, like I say, for kids, yeah, they would be like theme nights and things like that. And that I remember the thing, there was always, because you had previews, you had coming attractions, but you had cartoons.
Yeah.
There'd be a Tom and Jerry cartoon, or there'd be an old Warner Brothers, a Bugs Bunny, a Roadrunner cartoon. They would show a cartoon before every movie. There was always a cartoon. I remember watching Pink Panther cartoons before the movie. And when I actually started working there, and these projectors, oh my God. I mean, you've seen them. I've probably seen a picture of me standing next to that projector. The ancient projectors that were lit by 2 carbon rods that when you touched them together, they lit up, it was fire. That's how the movies were lit, is literally by fire. These 2 carbon rods that touched together, and you had to keep them, there was these 2 handles, that you had to screw and keep them touched together, so they would make the fire. And that's how the movies were lit. And you had to thread the film through these, sprockets and gears.
Is that why you always see like the old and sometimes you'll see like the film burning or something, like, you know.
Yeah, and that's happened. That's happened when the film would freeze or get caught up, and it would burn. You'd see the film burn.
Yeah.
But it was two projectors side by side, two windows that that projected out these little windows, and the film was about 20 minutes long. A film reel was about 20 minutes long, and you looked for the upper right hand corner of the screen, the cigarette burn, and it was little black dot you saw in the right hand corner of the screen. So when you got around close to the 20-minute mark, you'd look in that upper right hand corner and you'd see that flash, that cigarette burn. Well, when you saw the first cigarette burn, that is the signal to turn on the next projector, and the second cigarette burn is the switch over.
Oh, hell.
But the first projector, like I say, this was a setup from like the 1930s or something. I mean, there was.
Yeah, yeah.
It hadn't been updated in probably 50 years when I started working there. Ancient.
That's cool though. I mean, hell, I didn't realize that they did it like that. Put a cigarette burn to mark what time to do shit.
That's what you look for, upper right hand corner.
Cool.
But anyway, we got a super Batman nerd is here, and he says, I heard in another video that problem was that Michael Myers had become so iconic that the fans wanted to see more Michael than a yearly story. Well,
and Carpenter, he just wanted that to be a one-off thing anyway. So, which we don't probably need to talk about Carpenter. Hell, I don't know.
Let's talk about my favorite film is The Thing. My favorite horror film is The Thing, and my favorite horror director is Carpenter. That at his peak, when he was running at full steam, there was hardly anyone that could beat Carpenter. Just for conveying a mood and visuals and everything. To me, he was just the best.
To not talk about Carpenter even more, I always tell people that his best movie is Starman, and it's one that doesn't get talked about a whole lot. But man, that's a solid science fiction movie.
That's big nostalgia for me too. When I was a kid, I love Starman, and I hear so many people shit on that movie, and I'm just like, how? Like, why? Like, I mean, I don't know if it's a nostalgic thing, but
it's not. No, if you
I haven't seen it in a while, so
if you watch it, it has heart, and it's
No, it's genuinely touching. It's genuinely moving. Great performances. And a little tidbit about Starman. At one point, oh God, what's the actor? The main who's Starman? The actor again?
Jeff Bridges, right?
Jeff Bridges.
Lloyd Bridges. He walks out of a bar, and this guy walks up to him, starts some shit, and that's Ted White.
Oh wow!
Oh shit! I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's the guy that's starting shit with Jeff Bridges outside of that bar. That's Ted White.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, a lot of these directors, they'll bring their buddies in, that worked with them back then to do different stuff, man.
So that's no Jason for Ted White. And of course, like I say, anyone wants to see my interview with Ted White, he was so cool because he was this like, I didn't give a shit about Friday the 13th. I've never seen any of those films. I'll never watch any of those films. But when I saw the money I was going to make, I signed on. And I think he's my favorite Jason. Ted White is.
And he might have made, I can't say that, but I mean, that was the biggest budget too, part 4 was. So he probably had a good payday.
In Sam Crow, sorry, I always have to get right up to the screen to read it. Have you guys seen John Carpenter's episode from Masters of Horror, Cigarette Burns? Yes, I have. Yeah. I really like that. Really good horror story about searching for a lost film reel that makes you kill yourself when you watch it. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Good. I rewatched that maybe a couple of years ago. I rewatched the entire series, and it didn't hold up for me as much as when it first aired. But that episode has a good concept, and Udo Kier is in it, and he's always great, man. He's always, just a smart piece of shit, and he's awesome in it. That's one
Udo Kier, and what was it? Frankenstein.
Flesh for Frankenstein and
Was it
blood for Dracula and shit.
I remember it at the time being called Andy Warhol's Frankenstein, which Andy Warhol didn't have shit to do with the making of the movie.
Exactly.
But Udo Kier, and I think
there's
Rob
another one that's
Rob Bottin did the effects for that.
There's one that's a lot of people hate, or not people that know about it. It gets shit on too. House on Straw Hill. I've always loved that movie.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's pretty underrated with Udo Kier. But
yeah, and he's in what is it? The Mark of the Devil. Like he's in that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's playing a way different role in that one though.
Yeah,
he's more distinguished and dignified, kind of.
Yeah, he's the leading. Really weird.
Yeah.
Well, there's something I wanted to ask you guys that we're talking about September 12th, and we're talking about Friday the 13th. But where were you guys yesterday, 23 years ago? How did you see it? Do you remember where you were when you saw what was going down? And, everything unfolding?
I was working. I was a teacher at a school for it was an alternative school. Kids had been, and these were like not the school's alternative. This was the last chance they had, and all these kids were on probation before they got kicked out of school and go to juvenile. And I was just working, and didn't have a TV on, didn't have a radio on, and then I guess one of the office workers came and just to let us know, hey, there's been like an attack, maybe we don't know, but 2 planes have crashed into the World Trade Center. So
damn,
but I didn't think anything of it, just kept on going, kept teaching. And I remember distinctly one of the kids' parents came and picked them up, because they were under the very real perception that we were going to war that day and wanted their kid to be at home. So, yeah.
I was working nights during that time. And at the time, I was buffing floors in Brookshires at night. So the guy, me and a friend of mine, we split the money from doing these floors every night. But he's the one that come woke me up. He's like, man, it was when the first plane hit. And I woke up to that shit. He's like, turn it on, man. And I was like, what the hell? I didn't know what the hell was going on. Like, yeah, that's where I was at. That's my memory. It was, and then I seen the second plane hit, and I was just like, holy shit. Because, my eyes were glued on the TV once he told me to turn it on, check it out. But
yeah,
I had no idea. None of us did. Knew what the hell was going to happen. But
I was bussing tables at this restaurant up the road here. I would usually just walk to work. And I was asleep in my bedroom there, and it was just me and my mama. My father had passed away in 1999, so it's just me and my mama. And she came in and told me, Jay, wake up. History is being made. I will never forget her saying those words. Jay, wake up. History's being made. And I said, what? What do you want? What? Turn on the TV. And I turned on the TV, and the first plane had hit. And, they were showing that and talking about this plane that had hit the World Trade Center, and they're showing it, and you can see the smoke and see the hole in the side of the building, and they're talking about it. And so I'm sitting there watching, and I had a VCR hooked up to the TV. So I put in a tape, and I pressed record, and I thought, I don't want to record this. This is, but I thought, but of course, when you see that first plane, that is hit, you think, well, it's a freak accident, it's just
right.
But and then I'm watching, and I'm just kind of, interested, but ain't really freaking out. And then you see that second plane hit, and I think my eyes literally got as big as plates. I was like, oh my God. And I heard Mama in the room goes, oh, Jay, did you see that? She's screaming in the, in the front living room. I said, yes. And it's like, oh my God, son, and she was starting to freak out. Because when you see that second plane hit, you know that this is not a freak accident. This is on purpose. And just to visually see that plane slamming into the building and the fireball, and just, oh my God, to watch history unfolding in front of your eyes, and then hearing about a plane hit the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said there's a plane that seems to be heading towards the Capitol. Well, that turned out to be Flight 93, which the passengers brought down.
Yeah.
But once they said that there was a plane likely heading for the Capitol, that's what I thought. I thought we're going to war. This is shit. We're fucked,
Yeah.
And I was really scared there, until I had heard that the plane had come down, 93 had come down. And then it's just all aftermath, of course, showing that footage over and over and over again of that second plane hitting. And then see that first tower coming down, straight down. I'd never seen anything like that except for a controlled explosion.
Right.
Yeah.
Like when you see buildings that are
Demolition.
for demolition, they could just come straight down. Well, that's how the trade tower, that first trade tower just comes straight down. And just watching that happen, and just like, oh my God. And then eventually the second tower, same thing, straight down. Mm-hmm. Just, and thinking, good Lord, what's going to happen? And who's responsible? And then when they finally brought up Osama bin Laden and all that, they had just, I remember they were bringing his name up. I think even before the first tower even went down, they were bringing up Osama bin Laden as a likely candidate for who's ultimately responsible for it. But yeah, that, Super Batman Nerd says, I was in third grade and I thought we were watching an action movie. Then it dawned on me that it was for real. Yeah. Kathy says, I was working, and since we're in Austin, they closed schools, businesses. The governor wondered if all state capitals may be targeted. And text in SBN in third grade, you were too little. Super Batman movie. Yeah. But yeah, and I remember just everything shut down. All the TV shows that you would watch, like David Letterman and the Tonight Show and all that, all the shows just stopped. And
then I remember all the the conspiracy theories that came after that, and it's pretty wild though.
It took a little while though for the conspiracy theories to hit, but I remember there was like just a big surge of patriotism. Everybody had flags on their house. They're donating blood. A bunch of people were foolishly enlisting into the services so they could go to not Afghanistan, but to go after Saddam Hussein or whoever it was.
Whoever was responsible, right? Yeah, I remember that. It was people got united for sure.
Yeah.
And that's, man, how rare is that?
Well, and that's the thing, bringing that up about being united. That during that time we felt like it's us against them, and we're pulling together to fight this evil that had attacked us. And now there's no feeling of that. There's no feeling about being united anymore.
Yeah,
I feel divided. This country is divided. And
social media is a big catalyst for that. Once everybody has a voice and has their voice right then and there, whether it's a reasoned voice or something they've done research on or not. No, everybody can say whatever the hell they want, and somebody's going to believe it. So yeah, that social media really threw a monkey wrench in us being neighborly and us being working to help each other out and all that, man. And I don't want to get too preachy because I'm a prick myself, but
No, I know you're exactly right though. I mean, because it's too easy for somebody to just tap on a keyboard, versus actual contact with people, like in person. People can say whatever they want just behind a keyboard and shit.
No, there's people that I know that are very intelligent people, but they believe the dumbest things. They believe like really idiotic shit that all somebody else posting, and they don't realize like when they say that hey, this is Russian interference. It is, in some cases it really is. They do that shit to keep a division on us going. Not that we really need any help, but they don't mind blame on the fire.
Well, and then one of the most blatant examples of that, you talk about the internet or whatever, and everyone just saying the most ridiculous shit. When we got to the COVID business and the anti-vaxxers and all that, but that was some dangerous stuff because they really had influence on people that wouldn't do that, wouldn't get the vaccine, and you deal with something that's so contagious that, and it was, they were talking about how I'd never heard anything like that. I never heard about no one ever said that thing about the flu vaccine or the polio vaccine or anything like that. But there's a big conspiracy to, bring us down the COVID vaccine, and
not to go too dark, but I heard. Have y'all heard about this shit? I just heard about this shit yesterday. It's true though. It's not a conspiracy theory, none of that shit. But have y'all heard about assisted suicide? Have y'all heard about this? It started with terminally ill people.
Yeah.
But now people with depression, fucking depression can get it. And I was like, this is in 16 states here in America now.
Now, I hadn't heard about that.
I was like, what the hell is this
depression? I never heard about that.
But yeah, it's
legalized anywhere. So I don't.
Assisted suicide. So they can just, in Switzerland, they got a pod that they can put you in, and you push a button, and nitrogen is pumped in there, and you die in 10 minutes. God. I said, this is crazy. This is insane.
It sounds like the lethal injection, or when they,
But it's just wild to me. Like people with hearing loss or physical ailments, and just severely depressed people with autism. 28-year-old woman did it. I was like, what the hell? This. I don't know. I ain't trying to bring nobody down, but I just heard about this shit yesterday. I was like, what the hell is this shit? Suicide.
What we're going through now is, to me, it's troubling. I'm not going to get into Donald Trump. What you think about Donald Trump, I certainly have a very strong opinion about Donald Trump, but I'm not going to talk about Donald Trump. I don't know if you guys watched the debate the other day, which was just.
No, I don't pay attention to politics.
Yeah. It just felt like we're doomed either way. But right. But I have never in my lifetime, and I'm 59 today, have never encountered no one ever gave a fuck what I thought about the sitting president. They didn't care what I thought about George Bush or Barack Obama or something like that. We may have a discussion about the president, what you think about the president, but, but there is some places that I will not speak about what I think about Donald Trump because I'm afraid for my life. I'm afraid, you get into January 6th and all that. Oh my God, that's the first man that's been in office where it's I don't know. You know, I don't want to upset anyone that's a Trump supporter, but
I mean,
like,
I don't believe in none of them. So you can say whatever.
well,
It
yeah,
don't
me
matter.
either. No, me. Like I say,
So, I
I
don't
think
care.
I think we're screwed either way. But
Right.
I,
just I've never seen anyone so fervently, uh, rallying behind a person. Just like don't talk shit about Trump. Or don't,
It's like a.
uh,
I mean, I've seen it strong, man. Like politics being like the new religion in a way. It's
and
kind of taken over.
I've seen friends
You know.
friendships end because of
Oh yeah.
Trump. I've seen families broken apart because of Trump. Uh, Never in my lifetime have I seen a sitting president have that kind of influence. Yeah. Let's see. And Super Batman nerds, I like to say, have to get right up with. That is correct, Dirk. We put aside our race and joined together. Yeah, for 9/11. And I got to go and get ready for work. You guys have a fun stream. Thank you, Batman.
Yeah, man.
He works at McDonald's. So,
Take care, man.
and Friday 13th movie -4. Are you going to watch any of the movies tomorrow?
Of course, mine's part 4, and tomorrow I'm taking my 7-year-old son to go see Friday the 13th Part 4 in the theater. So
cool.
Oh, cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
My favorite is 5. You know, the one that plays more like an exploitation movie.
I
think it's one of the funniest scenes and the coolest kills and some of the best nudity. So yeah.
Well, and didn't the director direct porn?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I think he was a porn director, and it looks like a porn. It looks like a porn without the sex.
Yeah, got old Deborah Voorhees in there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I know I love 5. That might be my second. 5 might be my second. And there's so many people who just scream bloody murder about 5 because
when I was a kid,
didn't have real Jason. You know,
when I was a kid, I got to admit I was pissed off because I was like, what the hell? Like at the end of the movie, you know. But as I got older, it grew on me. So
yes, people forget. Hey, it's not Jason in the first either. And it's like,
yeah,
you're a giallo guy, and part 1 is a giallo. It's not really like, even though it birthed the slasher, they say, but it's more a giallo flick.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a mystery. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but 4 is my favorite. Like say, Ted White's my favorite Jason.
Yeah,
I think it's got some of the best kills. The guy in the wheelchair that gets the machete, across the head, going down those steps. That might be my favorite kill. I
like
which
part
is not very politically correct. You get
I
a
like
guy,
part 2 as well. Yeah.
Sorry to my handicap friends, and I do have a few, but yeah, somebody in a wheelchair getting killed in arm.
Well, I don't mean that. I don't mean that it's cool that a guy in a wheelchair is getting killed, but it's just the coolest kill, I think. It's just,
and he was just about to get some too, man. That's the thing.
And just going across his face and him going backwards down those steps. That's just, to me, I think that's the best kill of the Friday 13th film. But
yeah, man, I'm excited to take Grayson to go see it. He was like, "Why are we going to see it?" And we've already seen it, and I'm like, "Well, we haven't seen it in the theater."
Oh, yeah, man, you see that in a theater, yeah,
way different. And I've never seen it in the theater, so I was like, "Well, shit, let's do it."
I'm trying to think where the ones I saw actually in a theater. I saw part 2 in a theater, the Old Maya Theater. Saw part 2.
Yeah.
And I think I was working at the theater when part 4 came out, so I think I projected part 4. I think, and saw part 5 at Maya Theater. I think part 5 might have been the last one. No, I saw Freddy versus Jason. Saw that in the theater, and Jason Takes Manhattan. I think I saw that in the theater.
I saw Jason Goes to Hell. That's the only one I've seen in the theater.
I think I saw through 5, in the theater.
Okay. Hell yeah. Yeah. Well, let me ask y'all this: if y'all could see any film, period, which film would you want to see in the theater?
Two films, Jaws and The Thing. See those
Okay.
two? To see the Jaws again in the theater, they had a revival of Jaws a couple of years ago. Uh, that I come close to going to see it, but they only had the 3D version showing. Well, I'm blind in my left eye, and that 3D crap doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, even the polarized glasses and stuff, the new fangled 3D doesn't work for me. But yeah, to see either of those films, The Exorcist would be really cool to see in the theater.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jaws, to see Jaws again in the theater during the summertime, you know, around this time of year to go see Jaws in the theater would be so cool.
Yeah.
Me, it would be Excalibur. That's one of my all-time favorite movies. Yeah, I don't know if it even showed in my town when I was a kid or whatever, but goddamn, there's just so much cool shit to see in that movie. I would love to see it on the big screen.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it would be The Shining. I'd love to see The Shining, man. It's my favorite film of all time. So,
I remember being in a theater in Waco, and I forget the movie we were watching. It was me and my friend, might have been Barry, but they were doing the previews, and they showed that static shot of that elevator, and then you see that blood pouring, that ocean of blood pouring out of that elevator. And, oh shit, that's the coolest thing. And then they, and what they had, whatever, Stanley Kubrick or The Shining or whatever. I forget what the titles that pop up, or I think they scroll up, but
Yeah.
that river of blood coming through that elevator is one of the best trailers in history.
I'm trying to place Excalibur though. I'm pretty sure I've seen it. I had to have seen it. Which who's in that one?
It's a John Borman movie. The people that became famous later, much later, they don't have big roles. Like Liam Neeson's in it,
Oh
but
shit.
smaller roles. Shit, what's his name? Patrick Stewart. He also has a small role in it. But it's just a movie about the Arthurian legends. King Arthur.
King Arthur. Yeah.
And fighting his son. For it's just there's so much cool stuff in it. If you've never seen any of John Borman's other stuff, like he did
Deliverance.
Yeah, and the Emerald Forest is great. Zardoz is just weird as hell, but really.
Oh, with the Sean Connery.
Yeah.
And that suit he's wearing. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's like a 1981 then, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just looked it up. I'm trying to see. I know I had to have seen it. I've seen a bunch of those.
And it's another movie, like I mentioned earlier, where the music really, really sets the tone, and it's a part of the movie. You take the music out, then there's something missing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I tell you, a movie that I saw this in my theater. I would have loved to have seen it in a really good theater with the Dolby surround and all that. And that's the original Alien.
Yeah.
Saw that in my theater, the original Alien. But I was sat by myself. My sister dropped me off, and I saw Alien. And what was I don't know, 13, 14 years old. And just got absorbed in this film. And of course, the whole chest burster thing. Oh, fuck, didn't know anything about that. Didn't hear anything about the film.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I remember is the trailer, with the egg cracking open, and in space, no one can hear you scream, but that's the only thing I knew was that trailer, which really doesn't give hardly anything away. You just see that egg cracking, and, So to sit there and watch Alien just completely blind, not knowing a thing about the film, and just it unfolding, and then when John Hurt is on the table and that thing pops out of his chest, it's, oh my god! I remember gripping the damn seat and just being wrapped up in Alien, and so to be able to see that at a really good theater would be cool.
I saw that when I was a kid too, and it was one of those movies where I'm covered it out through one eye. Yeah, I was scared as hell watching that movie.
It's like a slasher film in space.
Well, it puts the classic monster movie. It's where they just show you glimpses of the monster,
Right.
and
yeah,
and at the end, it's like, okay, here it is, and there's movies now that, you can still follow that formula. It's a really good formula, especially for low budget movies that, don't show your monster right away, and don't, people can see the flaws in it, man. But,
let's do some catching up here. The mayor's here. Hey, Mayor. My favorite Friday is the first one, and part 2 is my favorite Jason, and I've seen all of them in the theater except for Jason X in the remake.
Well, which one, Mayor? Are you talking about Warrington Gillette or Steve Dash?
And he says he saw both Excalibur and The Shining multiple times when they first came out.
Man, wow.
And he says, in my opinion, Excalibur is the best adaptation of the Arthurian story.
I agree. There's nothing that's come close. Even with all the technology we have now and everything, there's nothing that touches it.
Well,
what was that one with Sean Connery?
I've seen it, but it's been ages since I've seen Excalibur.
What was the one with Sean Connery and Richard Gere?
First.
Yeah. Okay. Is that what it is?
And Joe, you need to make an Excalibur shirt. You'd definitely buy one. So
I have one on the site. I made it about, I don't know, 8-9 years ago. I think I've sold 2 in that time. I've got a lot of stuff.
You're gonna sell one more. So.
And I always have people like, hey, they recommend this to me. I say, man, there's enough stuff on my site that doesn't sell. So.
Right. That's cool.
But that's a good that would be a good topic just for a show. Just talk about movies that you enjoyed watching in the theater. Theater experiences where just watching a film, you just got wrapped up in it. It didn't work any other way, the same way. You still like the film watching it on VHS or DVD or whatever, but that experience of seeing it in the theater couldn't be equal.
And then the trailers didn't give as much away either. Like compared to nowadays, they just they blow their load in a trailer, and you go to see the shit, and you're like,
well, yeah. The example being The Shining, like I say, with that blood coming through the elevator, doesn't give a thing in the world away. The Alien trailer with the cracked egg, and Space No One Can Hear You Scream, doesn't give a thing in the world away. But in both cases, you want to get in the theater and see that movie. It knows how to entice you without giving anything away.
One of the best times I've had in a theater was watching Fright Night, and it was a Saturday matinee show, and I think I was like 13 or 14, and everybody in the theater was around that age too, man, and everybody was having fun when it was funny, and when it was tense, everybody was quiet as hell, and there was teenage girls screaming at the scary parts. It was badass, man. The theater was full, and it's good, man. It's like you watch it at home, it's still a good movie, but there was just that something extra at the theater.
Yeah, and that one, when I would have loved to have seen that in the theater. I don't think I saw Fright Night until VHS, but oh no, I love Fright Night, and just to experience that in the theater would have been great. My story I've told before is I was with my friend Barry. We was in Waco. We wanted to go see a movie, but we didn't know, didn't know what to see. And that's back when you eat the damn newspaper. I showed that Ad Nauseum book that's got all those cool newspaper, movie ads, But I think it was on a Saturday, and you had the newspaper, and they actually had to have the little, poster designs and stuff for the different movies.
Yeah.
And we had seen Evil Dead on VHS and just loved it. I think it was one that we had rented a few times. So it was fresh in our mind. I think we had seen Evil Dead maybe like a couple of weeks before that day. We were in Waco. and I see on the in the paper, Evil Dead 2. I said, Barry, look, Evil Dead 2, which I didn't even know there was going to be an Evil Dead 2. I didn't even know that was going to exist. You know, and I saw, it's Evil Dead 2. And at first I had to explain, you remember Evil Dead, you know, they go into a cabin and it's these creatures and, you know, the Deadites and yeah. So we went and saw Evil Dead 2. We sat in the front row. We rarely sat in the front row, but it was a pretty full theater. We sat in the front row, and I had one of the most fantastic times I'd ever had in a theater watching Evil Dead 2. Just watching that unfold and the comedic aspect of it, which I certainly wasn't expecting. That, you know, I know Sam Raimi was a big Three Stooges fan. He's talked, you know, a lot about that, how he loves Three Stooges. And, you know, him and the Coen brothers would collaborate on some things. And, you know, but he was really into the Three Stooges. And so you could see that influence at watching Evil Dead 2, like when the hand comes alive and smashing plates on his head. And I thought we was going to get kicked out of the theater because we were just screaming with laughter, literally screaming. Yeah. I was just blood red. I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard at the whole thing with the hand and smashing the plates and the finger giving the bird and just him with the shotgun. I got this shotgun, you know, here, you know, see if I don't, you know.
Damn, laughing deers and shit.
Yeah. The deer laughing and him having that hysterical laugh and just, oh man, just watching Evil Dead 2. And that was one of the examples. There's only a few movies that I can name where as soon as the credits rolled, I wanted to stay in the seat and watch it again immediately. I think the other one was Raising Arizona. At the very end of Raising Arizona, I wanted to watch that movie again right away.
Oh yeah, that's highly rewatchable for sure.
You know, which, by the way, speaking of Raising Arizona, speaking of another interview, go look up my interview with William Forsythe. That's on the Dead Pit channel. And of course, we were talking about the you know, Devil's Rejects because he was in that, but I really wanted to talk about Raising Arizona. So, you know, him and John Goodman and that is just, oh man, that's my favorite comedy is Raising Arizona.
It's great. Yeah.
It's a damn good one for sure.
And you don't hear a whole lot of people talking about Raising Arizona, but to me, it's the best comedy. And him, John Goodman, and William Forsythe as a team are just so hilarious.
With the you know, when he's combing his hair and it's all, you know, it's like all the grease and the sludge and shit they crawl through.
the kind of the way they approached humor, the Coen brothers, was so unique to me at the time. There's just moments. There's a moment in Raising Arizona where John Goodman just starts screaming, you know, when and just constantly screaming, you know, and driving a car and screaming. And to me, it's just the funniest thing in the world. John Goodman just screaming at the top of his lungs, and it's just.
There's so many lines, great lines in that film too. Like that one line where he's still in that, you know, the part where he's still in the Pampers and shit, and that old man's like,
"I'll be taking these
son, you got a panty on your head," or whatever, shit like that.
I forget what the number is. This guy that the old man that's, you know, I want you to call him, put some Mississippis between them, and then he says 780 alt Mississippi. And that old bullshit. And then he puts his head back up, and then you hear them coming screaming. You know, then he goes back.
It's hot, man. It's funny. It's real funny.
Let's see. Let's see. Bayer says, "Oh damn! I guess I need to check the rest of your website besides the horror and exploitation movies, Joe." Yeah. He's got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I didn't give the website a name, like I don't know, terrible T-shirts or something that denoted that I just do horror, because I love horror, you know, it's my first love, but there's so much other stuff. I didn't want to pigeonhole. Like, I like all movies.
That makes sense. I mean, to do it that way, for sure.
Oh, and Gorguts. Hey, Gorguts. Thank you, sir.
So, like you mentioned that, what was the experience that you'd had that was great in a theater? Was there a movie that you guys went to go see that you knew nothing about? You know, just went in there, or a friend took you, and then it just blew you away, like how good it was.
Yeah, man. I remember it was my mother of all people took me to see Silence of the Lambs. We had no idea. I had no idea what the hell it was, but I was just blown away, man. In '91, that's the one for me that I could. And it's still my fourth favorite film of all time. So
yeah.
Well, how about since you bring it up? How about you, Joe?
Event Horizon.
Okay.
I love Event Horizon. That's another movie you don't hear a lot of people.
I dig Event Horizon, man.
I love it. I love Event Horizon.
Said, hey, Joe, me and my girlfriend are going to the movies. You want to tag along with us? Sure, I got nothing going. And it's like, wow, how have I not heard of this? This is definitely my kind of movie.
Yeah, man. I didn't get to see it in the theater, but when I saw it for the first time, I was just like, what the? Like, I was blown away just in the damn living room watching. But I could have just imagined the theater experience. You know?
Yeah.
I'm trying. There's a few examples. My mother was good about just sort of, hey, Jay, let's go see a movie. She was good about that. She was just on spontaneous, you know. And they used to, theater used to have matinees, you know, theaters like around noon, you know, that kind of thing. They later went where it was just at night. But when I worked there, it was just at night. But they used to have matinees around noontime. And I remember very clearly me and her going seeing Young Frankenstein.
Oh, shit.
And didn't know a thing in the world about it. And just sat there and just was just delighted by it, you know. And I couldn't have been more than 8, 9 years old, you know. But I was so. And me and mother were laughing, and we got, you know, I was kind of proud of myself because I got the humor of it at that age, and just loved that film and watching it with my mother, watching Young Frankenstein with my mother, and like I say, didn't know, I had never even heard of it, you know. And I think I saw Young Frankenstein in the theater. I saw Blazing Saddles in my theater.
Oh, hell.
That might be my second favorite comedy is Blazing Saddles. You talk about this politically correct world.
Yeah.
There's someone put a meme up on YouTube that said if Blazing Saddles is made today, and so you've got, you know, the Blazing Saddles song, you've got the title, and then you've got the end. And,
yeah,
you know,
definitely.
And that was if Blazing Saddles is made today. You've got the title and you've got the end. You know, but to me, it's might be my second favorite comedy. You know, but yeah, watching Young Frankenstein. But yeah, there's several. Probably, if I gave you some thought, there would be several examples of going in blind, a movie that I didn't know anything about. Gosh,
is there anything new? I'll say new. I'll say the past 10 years. Is there any films that stick out for y'all, or that
in the theater or just in general?
Just in general, like, yeah.
One of the movies that I really liked is called A Dark Song. I like my horror movies to be occult themed. You know, it's like slashers or whatever. Hey, if I can fight it, I'm at least gonna go down fighting. You know, but like when there's an occult movie, and it's like you're kind of like helpless. You know, so I've liked A Dark Song. I liked The Witch a whole lot.
Oh, I really like The Witch.
Yeah, definitely.
And there'll be others that'll come to mind. I can't think right now, but
I got
you. Definitely horror wise. I mean, there's been other stuff that just like, wow, that's, you know, it's like a solid movie. Like, well, I can't think, of course, but yeah, go ahead, Jay. What do you got?
Well, as far as anything, I don't new or recent that I'd like to see, just because so many people are talking about it and it's actually made some good money in the theater, is Long Legs. I'd like to see it. And anything with Nick Cage, I love Nick Cage. So, him as a serial killer while I'm there,
Yeah.
I like the Dracula film that he made. I had fun with it.
I thought it was fun. It
Yeah.
was like a superhero movie. It was cool.
Yeah, I had, I had fun with it. But yeah, Long Legs, and of course I've talked with this, but Dirt before. I like the first Terrifier. There's no story to it. It's just gore. It's just a gore film. That's all it is. But Terrifier 2 at least made an attempt at a little bit of a storyline and characters. But what I like about Terrifier 2 is that the limits it pushed, that I almost gave up anyone pushing those kind of limits anymore, in a film, in a horror film, now, whether that makes a good movie or not, I don't know. That's up to you to say. But that there's still people out there trying to do something like that, and it made some money, and it was actually, it got some return for doing that, So it kind of gives you some hope, because that's something that's I've been sort of crying about, is that no one tries anymore. No one really puts forth any effort. That they're too afraid of offending someone, too afraid of, raising some sort of controversy. So, and they feel like they have to represent pretty much every sort of nationality and every, you got to have, every.
Check all the boxes and.
Exactly. Check off all the boxes.
I think you're right. The American market, but and I just thought of a couple more, Dirk, that are foreign, like The Sadness,
okay,
out of Korea, I believe, and then Where Evil Lurks.
Oh yeah,
I
love that, and the other one, Terrified.
Yeah, I thought those, all three of those, I thought were excellent. I thought, this is the kind of horror that I like, that really like puts a tense situation out there and like makes you think.
Yeah. I got one. It's called the Borgman. I don't know if y'all have heard of this one.
A buddy of mine recommended that to me, so I do need to sit down and watch that.
Okay, I mean, it's all subtitle. I just warn everybody.
Yeah. Cool.
Which I'm fine. I can do that. I mean, I've got used to it. I watch so much Italian cinema. I watch tons of cinema from around the world, so it's like second nature just to read it. But Borgman is. I'm not going to spoil nothing. I'm not going to say anything. I'll just say this: the first time I watched it, I didn't like it. So, but it fucked with my head and made me think about shit. So then I watched it again, and I fucking loved it. I was like, "What the fuck?" It's just weird how movies do that shit, man.
No, but that's something that you say, like it stayed in your head.
Yeah.
That you didn't like it. It stayed there, and it made you go back. That's what things, what art is supposed to do.
Right. Yeah, and it is a trippy. It's so original. I don't want to say nothing because.
So this weekend I went and saw The Thicket, which is in limited release. This is a Western from a Joe Lansdale novel. If you guys aren't familiar with him, pick up anything that he's written. He's just a badass. He's a badass writer. His stuff's easy to read. It's fun. But this movie, it's got Peter Dinklage and Juliette Lewis. Juliette Lewis is playing the bad guy in it. And
oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, the guy, his sister is abducted by some outlaws, and Juliette Lewis is the leader of those outlaws, and he hires Peter Dinklage and this other guy to get her back. And if you like Westerns...
I love Westerns, and just the cast makes me want to see it.
Yeah. I can get with Westerns, too. It's called The Thicket?
The Thicket. Really, Dallas, as big as Dallas is, only had 2 theaters showing it. And
damn.
As big a Lansdale fan as I am, me and a buddy, we found that place and we hauled ass over there. And it's solid, man. It's a solid movie.
So are you closer to Dallas or closer to Houston?
Dallas.
Okay.
live right on the outskirts of Dallas. I live in Allen, Texas. My
Okay.
shop is in Garland, but you can literally throw a rock across the street and you're in Dallas.
I know where Garland is. Yeah, for sure.
Well, and speaking of Peter Dinklage, I don't know, has it come out, the Toxic Avenger remake with him as the Toxic Avenger? Has that come out, or
It's supposed to be coming out.
It's been held back for one reason or another, but it'll come out. Whatever they're doing with it, I think is just good publicity to get people like us pumped up. I don't think it's doing anything for the general public.
Yeah.
You know, they could give a shit, it's, but they want us to go see it.
Right. Yeah. You got people like me, I show my son all kinds of crazy shit. Like, he'd rather watch older films than new stuff, most of the time.
Yeah. I would take my daughter to see a lot of stuff that other parents would probably question, was younger, but now she's older and doesn't, none of the stuff that's out now phases her. And she just, she knows a lot about story structure and, how things are, how it's all put together to make something good, and I think, watch a lot of independent movies, and I think that's what they miss. It's like, it's not one person doing it. You got to have everybody in there doing their part and doing it well to make something that really sticks and becomes a cult classic or something that gets by on word of mouth or whatever.
Yeah, man. I think that's where it's really at. The people,
watch,
the risk takers, right? The risk takers.
Jay, like I always tell people, Dawn, that's a great example of an independent film and what it's supposed to be, man. And it's very story driven, and you guys didn't overreach with that movie. You knew what your limitations were, and you worked with them, man. And
I appreciate that, but that movie really is a little bit of a miracle that movie was made, because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. My mother helped me a lot financially, helped me invest to buy that camera. It was an old DV, they had tapes, the old DV tapes.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah. That's why it's good, because you put everything you had, and you knew, hey, this person put this, put themselves in line to make.
But it was just an example of just everybody pulling together to help me make that movie. My mother and friends, and
with the Kickstarter, there's no risk. You're just asking for money.
But speaking of independent film, speaking of Dawn, it was a Jim. I saw this on VHS. I was staying in a house with my friend Mark. We were sharing a house that his parents owned. We were just, we didn't have to pay rent. We would just pay, utilities and stuff. We mowed yards. I weed eated. But anyway, I rented this film from the local video store, W&W Family Rental, Down by Law by Jim Jarmusch. And it was shot in black and white. And it's Roberto Benigni, Tom Waits, and I forget one other actor, and they're escaped prisoners. And it's what I would call a road movie, just like, following these guys on the road and just meeting other people. Not a strong story to it. It's just kind of like these guys sort of, moving along, meeting different people. But what really struck me was that it was shot in black and white. And this was, mid 80s, something like that, early 90s, maybe. Down by Law. I don't know what exactly, I can Google it, but I don't know what the year is. But anyway, Jim Jarmusch, the director. But I was really struck with just the look of it. And I became a huge Tom Waits fan because of that movie. A huge fan of his music and stuff that when he would do acting, and so that is a big reason why I shot Dawn in black and white, was because of Down by Law by Jim Jarmusch. Just to
Down by
the
Law,
look of it, the feel of it, and I shot my last movie, Crystal, in black and white. I'd like to do it again. This one that I'm working on now, the list, hopefully shoot in before I got a new camera, 4K camera, which I still haven't turned on. I've had that thing for like 4 months.
Right.
But I'm not going to shoot that in black and white. But I'd like to shoot in black and white again. But just the idea of filming something on purpose on black and white was a unique concept to me. That it wasn't an old movie. That's the look he wanted. So he filmed it in black and white. And that was a unique idea to me at the time. And it really stuck with me that if I ever make a movie, I want to make it in black and white. So, yeah.
Hell yeah. I love getting recommendations, man. I always so Down by Law and The Thicket. And I gotta try to seek these out.
Down by Law, like I say, it's not heavy on story, but it's heavy on characters. Old Tom Waits, Roberto Benigni, and I'm trying to the third guy that's the escape prisoners. It's kind of light on story, but I love the movie. I think it's really entertaining. The characters, I love the characters.
Yeah.
And like I say, that it's in black and white.
So the Thicket is it's a Tubi movie. It's financed by Tubi. So I'm hoping that after it's got this brief theatrical run, that it'll be streaming there, and a shitload of people will watch it. I think honestly that they did the theatrical run because in order to be recognized for any kind of Academy Award or the other People Choice Awards or whatever, you have to have screened in a certain amount of theaters.
Okay.
And I think they might be hoping that Juliette Lewis gets nominated for something. And she's really good in it, but I think Peter Dinklage is a whole lot better. I thought he was amazing in this.
I was wondering why I've seen her. I think I'm out of focus or something. I was wondering because I've seen her popping up more here lately.
Yeah, she's been all over the place promoting this, and she's been on talk shows, and
Okay.
Well, that's one I'll definitely have to look for. Like I say, it being financed by Tubi. Hopefully, Tubi's going to stream it. And Juliette Lewis, it's been ages since I've seen her do anything. I went to the theater. I saw Natural Born Killers in the theater in Waco, and it's just all style over substance.
Not a fan of that movie at all.
Yeah. It's just
really? No
Natural
Born Killer fan. Okay.
Not at all.
I love it, man. It's so out there, and it's for the time.
It's out there, but it's just all flash to me. It's just
got,
all
big.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Woody Harrelson and them tiny little glasses, them little sunglasses, with them tiny little shades.
But I think it was, for me anyway, it's commentary on like the way the world was at the time, or the way America was at the time, with all this damn reality TV shit.
Oh, I knew.
Oliver Stone always was he had a message going on in his films and shit, but
I knew the point he was trying to make.
Yeah.
I just thought, to me, it was just, like I say, sort of style over substance.
Right.
I enjoyed some of the visuals, but yeah, it didn't.
And there's so many different cinematographers too he used for that damn movie. Like you could tell.
And he shot in all these different, they would shoot like 16 millimeter and video and 70 millimeter and 35 and all that, it's different.
Right.
I think it's okay. I've got it somewhere on DVD, but yeah, I don't know. But I really like Juliette Lewis. Is what I think that's sort of got turned on to Juliette Lewis watching that movie. And of course I know, Christmas Vacation. I love Christmas Vacation. but she's in that Christmas Vacation.
Like when
Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah.
Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah.
When I met her, I told her, because I was a fan of her dad, Jeffrey Lewis, who was in a lot of Clint Eastwood movies. In High Plains Drifter, yeah, he's the main bad guy, and Any Which Way But Loose and Any Which Way You Can or whatever, he's Clint Eastwood's buddy to give you,
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's her dad.
Yeah, that's her dad. Yeah,
I know who
Jeffrey.
you're talking about now.
Wasn't he in Devil's Rejects too?
I'm not certain. No, man, I really don't know. I don't remember when he passed away. But the thing is, her and Jeffrey were in a movie together, and they're both minor characters in it. But they do have one scene together, which I thought was really cool. But it's called Way of the Gun, and this is with Benicio del Toro and Ryan Phillippe.
Oh, I've
James,
seen that. Yeah,
James Caan is in it. Now that's a badass
that's a
heist.
damn good movie. Yeah,
It's a damn great crime flick, and anybody that hasn't seen it, I again recommend it. There's a shirt on Fast Custom Shirts. I probably sold 4 of those because again, nobody gives a shit about that movie, but you people.
I'm trying to see if that's him or not. If it's the guy I'm thinking of. Shit. Anyway, it's not the guy. I don't know.
All right, but
It's
guys,
hard
my about to give out.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for having me on, Jay. Happy birthday, man.
Well, thank you, sir. This has been a good one. No, I certainly appreciate you showing up, Joe. And once again, y'all go check out his site, Fast Custom Shirts.
Yeah, and
that's the site, just .com, and fastcustomshirts.com.
Yeah, and if you like the nonsense I was spewing on here, check out boygob.com on YouTube or the Boy Gob podcast on Facebook to like our page, and you'll hear me and Tom just talk a lot of garbage and nonsense. All right. But, hey, thank you, man. Thank you for years and years of friendship.
Well, thank you, Joe. I sure appreciate it, man. Thank you for showing up tonight. It's been a good one.
Good talking to you. Goodbye, everybody.
Take care, Joe.
Yeah, cool. But yeah, his show that he does with Tom Martino is very entertaining, very funny. Those two going at it is funny.
And that's Boy Gob, he said?
Boy Gob, is it Boy Gob, I believe. Boygob, I believe. Boy Gob.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, that's some entertaining stuff that they do. And they talk about all kinds of films. They talk about some obscure stuff, and but
I'm looking now. See.
So, Dirk, about your show, what have you got coming up?
So Sunday, me and Darren will be talking about Dario Argento's 1987 opera, and we're doing a complete, like, the whole show's just about that one movie. So we're like going deep into that shit, like all the shit we know about it and shit we didn't know about it, we're gonna know about it. So yeah, that's what we're covering.
I wonder if that's streaming on Tubi opera. I don't think I've seen it. There's so many of those films that I need to catch up on.
Yeah, opera's a lot of people say it's his last masterpiece, but I don't know. I like Sleepless too. Sleepless is a damn good one too, if you haven't seen that one. But yeah, that's gonna be a good show. That's Darren's all-time, his favorite film of all time, and I love it a lot. It's kind of fail though a little bit, not out of Argento's shit, out of his filmography, I should say.
Yeah.
But it ought to be good. I've been just working, staying busy, man. I got in a little later, and I seen your message, and I said, all right, well, I'll pop on here.
Well, good. This turned out to be another good one, though. Yeah, with Joe and you guys. And talk about some films that I need to check out too. That Western that he was talking about.
Yeah, I want to check it out too. And that one you mentioned, Down by Law.
Down by Law, yeah. Jim Jarmusch.
Yeah, I mean, I watch I watch all kind of stuff, man. I watch stuff I even watch stuff from the silent era. I know people look at me crazy, but
Well, I mean, the two of the best, Metropolis
yeah.
and Nosferatu.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
And
definitely.
Nosferatu still kicks ass, man. It's still creepy as hell.
It is. Have you ever seen Haxon? Have you seen that one?
accent. I've heard of that. I don't know if I've seen that.
Okay. That's it's over 100 years old too.
And Colin Morris says, coming in late. Happy birthday, Jay. What's going on, Dirt?
What's
Hey,
going
Colin.
on?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, check out the show, Colin. We had Joe Garcia on here. He just left, and just talking about movies and just talk about stuff in general. Been having a good one, good show. Um,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
but but I'm trying to think. Like I say, there's so much I need to just settle down and check out. So many films I need to check out.
Yeah,
And,
it's crazy now, ain't it? Like how many films you have access to now.
well,
Like,
yeah. Like I say, with Tubi is just a
yeah,
smorgasbord. That alone, but of course, I got the Amazon channel, I got Netflix, got Hulu, got Disney Plus, and there's like Pluto TV, and oh gosh, there's so much.
oh man, there it is, man. It's insane. I remember as a kid though, you had to wait. You had to wait at a certain time to watch certain movies,
Yeah.
But that's way different now. Touch
Because
of a
I
button,
mean, because me being old, 59 today,
right?
I remember at was it 10:30? Oh, might have been midnight. Uh, I'm not sure on weekdays. Might have been 11 o'clock. Might have been midnight. They had, if you see Poltergeist, the beginning of Poltergeist, you hear
Oh yeah,
the Star
yep,
Spangled Banner.
yeah. It was
And
midnight. I remember.
at
Yep,
midnight, and then psh, and it goes the static
and
because
and that's
at
what I told.
midnight, TV was done.
That's what I told my son too. Because I showed him Poltergeist one time, and he was like, he's so desensitized. He's seen all this other stuff, and he's like, well, wasn't really scary. And I was like, I explained to him about how TVs used to be and all that. I said it was way more effective back then, especially during that time when that was
Yeah,
going on. You know,
yeah.
like when the fuzz came on, it kind of freaked me out when I was a kid. Like just seeing
Yeah,
that.
well, that's when I saw that in the theater. I think
Yeah.
it was Mahia Theater. Saw Poltergeist. No, I really like Poltergeist. And let's see. And Darren Burrows says, "Happy birthday, Jay." Hey, Darren. There's your boy, Darren.
What's going on, man? Hope you're doing okay over there in the UK.
What time is it over there, Darren?
Oh hell, it'd be let's
It's in the
see.
morning, isn't it? Or
I know 6 o'clock is midnight for him, so it's got to be almost 3 a.m. for Darren.
goodness. Man, I'd be in bed. I'm old. I'd be sleeping. Hopefully.
But yeah, man, it's gonna be a good show. I feel like that opera show is gonna be. We're pulling out all those stops, like trying to find out all the damn information we can find out about the film.
Well, yeah, to go to check out Dirk's show, it's Subjective Perspective Collective, and that is his show. And he says it's 2:48 a.m.
Yeah,
So
I knew. I done got it down now. It's always 6 hour difference. So like,
yeah. But on my end, well, it's about 10. I got 10 till 9 my time, so we'll go to 9 o'clock. We'll do a deuce, do 2 hours for my birthday show.
yeah, man. I'm trying to get this camera to focus in. It's all blurred out. Like It's all right.
Well, hopefully I've got my problem fixed up where I was having delay and getting froze up and stuff. Now that I'm actually just plugged directly into my modem now, So
I've been trying to tune in my. Does the sound okay? Because I've been noticing.
You sound fine. There's
Okay.
a couple of times I've noticed throughout the conversation that you'll sort of skip or sort of freeze real quick, and I've noticed that you've done that on at least from what I see.
Okay.
Your picture will sort of freeze, just sort of skip, but it's real fast. It doesn't linger,
Yeah.
Like
I probably
right
need
now,
to get.
right now I saw it. Yeah, just a real quick little sort of a
Okay.
skip.
I probably need to get hard lined in like you got Ethernet.
You might try that because I also connected my TV up because it's got a broadband connection too, or whatever you call it, Ethernet.
Yeah.
And I plugged it, and I noticed improvements in the streaming stuff. Now I've got gigabyte internet, so I plugged the TV into it also. But you might give that a try. Like I say, if well, are you on a laptop?
I'm on a desktop PC.
PC, yeah.
Yeah.
But you might try connected directly into your modem because
I just have to get me a long ass cord because my modem's in the living room.
Well, what I got here is that Amazon has got a 50-foot, and it's on a roll. They've got a 50-foot cord. It's like $20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've got a 20-foot cord here. My modem's over there behind the TV up on the wall there. But
yeah, I might. Well, I'd probably piss some people off in the house if I move the modem. Piss my wife off. I don't know, but yeah, I'll try to get on that because I've been noticing it's kind of like I played back a couple things and it kind of froze up, whatever. But
yeah.
What you got planned for tomorrow?
I don't guess I have a plan. I might actually watch a Friday. May watch, because you get to see it in the theater. I may watch it here.
Yeah.
Friday before. I'd like to watch a Friday film. This being Friday the 13th.
That's going to be at 8:00 for us.
And Joe talking about 5. That's another one. I love 5, so that's another one. I may watch 5.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll have some kind of marathon on too somewhere.
Yeah. But that's so cool. Is the theater you're going to see that in? Does it do that regularly? Have like revivals of films and such?
They have certain special screenings for certain films. This is Fangoria is actually presenting this one. So
I didn't know that was still a thing, Fangoria.
Yeah, Fangoria presents. So
cool.
It's not a very big theater, which I'm glad. Like the one that we're going to see the film. So I haven't looked lately, but I've seen it had several people in there. So I'm excited about that.
Well, a memory that I'll recall is going to Waco with my friend Mark. He was the cameraman for my film Dawn. He passed away in 2010. But we went to Waco, went to Barnes & Noble, and bought the Fangoria magazine. And it had the Leatherface from that prequel. Was it Texas Chainsaw? They remade Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And then they made a prequel film to that.
Oh, yeah.
It's got Ermey in it.
Oh, yeah. The beginning.
The beginning, yeah. And it's got the Leatherface from the beginning on the cover. Anyway, they reviewed Dawn in the Fangoria. So I got it. And they gave it 3 out of 4 stars.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So they reviewed my movie. I got my movie reviewed in Fangoria magazine, which I thought that was so cool to actually go to Barnes & Noble and buy Fangoria magazine with my movie reviewed in it. So,
is there a way to get a physical copy of that, Dawn?
And you can check Amazon, but they wanted a ridiculous amount because it's out of print. They wanted like some $40-$50 for it or something like that. It used to be on eBay. You could get it for like $10 or something, but I don't know because it's been so long since I've checked that.
What year is that?
You
Let
know,
me. I'm gonna try to
in,
track it down. So
in
what
order
year
to
is
say you did put like Dawn, put my name and Dawn, you know.
Dawn? Yeah. What year?
Oh God, 2006.
Okay.
Uh, let's see. That's a good question. It's been forever since I tried to search that. Um, it used to be on Amazon, but like I say, they wanted a ridiculous amount for it.
We got Garrett in the chat too. Uh, he says, "Happy birthday, Jay. What's up, Dirt? What's going on, man?"
Oh, cool, cool. And we got Born to Be Rad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Jay. Sup, Dirt. And who did you say that is? That Garrett?
Yeah, it's Garrett. Yep.
Oh, okay. And hey, Chotsky?
Yeah. Hey, Chatsky.
Chatsky. uh, let's see here. All right. Well, it's got my prequel book, 3158. They won't
Oh,
for
damn.
that.
Okay.
But I don't see the movie anymore. But they got the book. They got the book I wrote. Yeah, Dawn. You can see that Dawn Year 7. Maybe not. It's
Oh, I
too.
see it. Yeah.
They
Okay.
got that, but that's a book, and they want ridiculous amount. But 3158. Good God.
Now,
Uh,
do you get
I don't think I
residuals
get
from
any.
that?
I don't know if I'd get anything from that or not.
Okay.
Because it'd been forever since I've sold a copy of that. But oh, hang on, we've got something here. We got the creepy Kentuckian.
Happy birthday, J Real.
Hey, okay, Wes. Thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What you up to tonight?
Oh, not too much. I'm just winding down for the evening. I saw that you was still on, so I thought I would join you guys to wish you happy birthday and everything, and congratulate you on your channel. You're almost up to 200 subscribers, Jay. It's a pretty big deal, man. That's not easy to do. Not as easy as people think.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Yeah, we're slowly building here. I need to do more of these shows and do it more often. Um, but no, really, and then getting a good crowd here tonight. Really appreciate that. Appreciate everyone that showed up, and we had Joe in here, and he stayed with us for most of the show, and good talk
Yeah.
with Joe. Um, and
I popped in as I got home. It took me a minute to settle in, but then I popped on. So
Joe's very old school. He's another old school guy, man. Like Dirt come along, I think, in the second wave of everything. But yeah,
yeah,
Jay and Joe back, God, 17, 18 years at this point. Been a long time.
yeah.
yeah, when I started talking to you guys, what was it, 2006, I believe?
Yeah. I think it was 2006 or 2007. And then we had one guy before Joe that did our shirts. And he was the most unreliable motherfucker. I was so fucking annoying because the first convention that we went to was Fright Night Film Fest, and we had it. They gave us a table. I was excited. I was like, okay, we're gonna get these shirts ordered, get our shirts and everything. And he's like, oh yeah, you'll get them in time. Yeah, you get them in time. And yeah, so I was done with that motherfucker right after that. So we felt luckily Joe found us, I think, and dude, like he's always come through. Never been disappointed from fastcustomshirts.com. There's a cheap plug.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I met Joe. I've seen him a couple times at Texas Frightmare, but hell, I wouldn't have known if it wasn't for the Dead Pit though about Joe. So
Yeah, he actually has an exclusive tie-dye Dead Pit shirt that's on fastcustomshirts.com. People may not know. It's actually really, really cool looking in person.
yeah, good dude, man. Good dude.
Yep. So what are y'all talking about tonight? It is Tuesday the 12th.
Well, we were
Or
actually
Thursday the 12th.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
drunk.
oh, wait a minute.
It's
I'm like,
Thursday. It's almost Friday.
yeah, we
Yeah,
almost
well,
there.
Dirk is actually going to go to a theater tomorrow and watch Friday 4
Yeah.
with his son.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people might frown on that, you know, taking a 7-year-old to see that, but hell, I was
Man.
I was 5, 6 years old watching some shit, so you know.
I mean, it was in the 80s, it was different. Like, people didn't even think about that. Nobody, like, or at least around here they didn't. Like, that wasn't a big thing. Like,
Yeah.
I remember parents around here thought it was fun to, like, I would stay over at a buddy's house and we'd be laying in the floor watching Friday the 13th, part 5. I remember it that clearly. And then there would be some scene coming up, and my buddy's mom would just wait and throw like a pillow right at the right time at us to scare us even more. I mean,
Right.
that's how people nowadays need to lighten up about that sort of thing, I think.
Right. Yeah, we're excited about it. Like he at first he was like, "Well, why we got to do that? I've already seen that." And I said, "Well, we haven't seen anything." yet." And but now he's excited. So, yeah.
Well, just to be able to see any movie like that, actually see it in physically in a theater, like I
Yeah.
say, I'd love to see, of course, with Jaws being my favorite movie, I'd love to see Jaws again in a really nice theater, a really good sound and all that. To see Jaws, to see, Evil Dead 2, Alien, films that I loved seeing in a theater, to see them again in a theater.
Yeah, I feel very lucky that we got in on that when we did, because what was it, 2000 and I think it's 2008 is when Scarefest started doing those screenings. And then within about a 5 or 6 year period there, everything moved over to digital. So there was a lot of these theaters now, there's really no way for them to play. And there's some left that still do play the actual film prints. But yeah, I mean, over that 5 or 6 year period there, we did our own screenings and stuff down here at our local theater and got to see all kinds of great shits. My one big regret though, man, and I don't know if I've ever told Dirk about this because this is one of his favorite movies. Had it in hand. We had the print and everything.
Oh,
The theater closed down. The Shining. We had The Shining in 35 millimeter, and we were going to show it, dude. I was like, okay, we've got to wait and show it like in December or January. So I was sitting on it for a while. This was like a year ahead of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, fuck, because how awesome would it be to see that one in a theater?
No shit, man. I still haven't. It still hadn't happened. So, but
Yeah, you don't see that one very often. I don't know if Warner Brothers have a stick up their ass on that or what.
right.
But you don't see many screenings of The Shining, and of course we was doing ours under the radar for a while. So
That's killer.
Name some of the films that you showed during that time.
oh yeah, man. The first one.
I know the first Halloween, right?
Yeah, we did the first Halloween. We did actually the first one that we ever did was Halloween 4. It was completely sold out. That was the only one that was completely sold out. And we did that for American Cancer Society the first time. It's just completely, we just wanted to do it, donate everything or whatever. Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Madman, that was probably my favorite that we got to do. Got a standing ovation at the end, believe it or not. And The Thing, we did The Thing. We did Poltergeist was the last one that we ever did. It broke one of the projectors. That movie does have a curse. And that was the last one that we ever did.
There's some crazy shit going on with that movie.
Black Christmas, we did, or no, not Black Christmas, Silent Night, Deadly Night. What other ones did we do? I've got all the posters of them still.
Did y'all get burnt out? Y'all got burnt out on Silent Night, Deadly Night, huh? Or is that?
Well, we got burned on it. It's what happened.
Okay, because I wondered.
That's one of the big reasons that like they were going to continue to run the shows even the theater was closed for a while. But yeah, they sent like a big cease and desist thing that one of the producers from Silent Night Deadly Night caught wind that we were doing a screening.
Oh shit.
And
Okay.
yeah, man, and so I was like kind of fuck that movie after that. Like I just don't have enjoyment out of that movie
Because
anymore.
I'd hear y'all shit on it during certain the old shows, you know, and I didn't know why. Like maybe I just didn't catch that.
What's
part.
even more crazy though is that was the least sold one that we did. Nobody hardly came to that. I mean, for one thing, it was like in December and the weather was shitty, probably. But yeah, I mean, like no, literally, probably 30 people were there, maybe if that. And yeah, that was the one that got us in trouble. Oddly enough, well, we didn't really get in trouble, but they were threatening to do something. But
damn.
I'm trying to think of other ones. It's been a long time ago since we did those, but it's a lot of fun, man. We got to set up like a dead pit table and sold stuff. And we had our own
actually had programs of these films, right? Like,
yep.
Yeah, that's killer. Did you get to keep any?
I still have Madman. Like that's the only one that I kept. I sold all the other ones off just because these things are huge.
Yeah.
Like Jay knows you can't unless you have like a big garage or something. Those take up all kinds of room. Like one movie is pretty much 6 reels at least.
Yeah.
If it's a longer movie.
Going to the theater, it was down at the bottom of the steps. They had these tiny little narrow steps going up to the projection booth, and I had to make it. Usually, I had to make 2 trips. You know, taking the film reels up to the projection booth because, like I say, there'd be these big containers, metal containers that had this flip open top that held the reels, and it was 3. I think it was 3 reels to a container, I believe.
There's either 2 or 3. Sometimes I think there's some that's 4, and those things are heavier than fuck too.
Yeah, well they're heavy. They're pretty heavy.
Projection guy got to be right on time, right?
Like yeah, I've had to carry him upstairs and stuff too because like I would have to deliver these prints to the theater, you know, and The Shining. I remember The Shining. I think was 8 reels.
I can believe it though.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Because that was like over 2 hours or something, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I had Terminator 2. I think that was another one that was 8 reels. We never did get to show that. We had some killer stuff that we were going to show.
Oh, man, that would have sold out for sure.
Yeah, well, get this. We were going to do a double feature in the summer of Total Recall and Terminator 2. We had both of those.
Oh, cool.
We had The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, man.
We had a ton of stuff. Like I would buy this stuff up, and then after we screened the print, I would sell it and then buy something else or trade with somebody. And I still have a lot of those trailers, those little, that we had. We'd put trailers in front of the movies and everything, and it was just a really fun time. I mean, I wish we could have continued. We did it a little bit over a year, and then it was it. But it was a lot of fun.
The building is still standing, isn't it?
They're actually remodeling it right now. I want to take a picture of it next time I go by there. They're painting it. It's all black now. The whole building is solid black.
Oh, shit.
And they're redoing the light and the marquee and everything. It's been taken down, and they're I don't know what how it's going to look or anything, but
would you ever try to do something like that again, you think?
Oh yeah, for sure. If they would do it. I don't know exactly what they're going to do with the building. I'd heard they're going to maybe do a restaurant or do like live music and stuff, but I think it's still going to be called the Strand. So
we got a Strand here in Shreveport. It's called the Strand.
Yeah,
they do a lot of plays there and shit, but they show films there too.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they might do a little bit of everything with it, because there's not a theater in town here anymore. The closest theater is a good 30 minutes away or so.
Yeah, we got a couple. but we don't have AMC or nothing. But you know,
No, I mean we're in a small town here. We might be about the same size as Mahia. Not very big.
What is in my head? I think it's about 7,000, 7 or 8,000.
I'll have to look it up in
Okay.
Prestonsburg. Here's the thing about the population here, though, man. I don't see how they would ever be able to tell because there's all these little hollers and shit up these mountains here.
yeah,
They ain't people from the fucking census going to go up there.
right. All right,
No
fuck
way. Oh, shit. But yeah, Jay, you said you were what, 50, 59?
59.
59.
59. And you know, I know it's real, but it's unreal too. I can't really make sense to me being 59 years old, being so close to 60 years old. Yeah. Unreal.
Yeah.
But it's true. uh, but if you got anything going on the Dead Pit channel, particularly for tomorrow, for Friday 13th?
Yeah, we're doing and I don't know how this is going to work. We've already got we're doing a tier list ranking of Friday the 13th characters that is, not Jason. So pretty much everybody else in those movies, and a lot of which, like some of the later movies, I'm not even going to know who the hell these people are most of the time. So we're going to rely on the chat to
Yeah,
clue us in on some of these people from like Freddy versus Jason and
Jason X and shit.
Jason X. Yeah. And, but it's going to be fun, man, because like I know I'm a big fan of Friday the 13th Part 8. Rambo Wrath for Life on YouTube hates it. That's one that he absolutely hates. But you may be surprised about some of the characters when we talk about it from that movie because
Yeah,
as much as I like that movie, that movie is full of shitty characters.
it
Like
is.
tons of them.
Part 8, though, I gotta admit that one scene always pissed me off. But I can deal with the rest of the movie.
What you talking about? Where he turns back into a little boy
Yeah,
at the end of it
yeah,
with hair and everything. He looks like a normal kid.
yeah. Oh, my God. But Jason Goes to Hell was fun. That's the only one I've seen in the theater. So, like, that would get shit on too. So.
What did Joe say? Part 5 was his favorite.
Yeah, yep.
And that might be my second. Part 4 is my favorite, but Part 5 might be my second favorite.
I think Part 5 has the best characters.
What is the
Like
line?
overall.
Come eat your fucking shit or what?
Come eat your slop. Get in here, Junior.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun as
I
hell.
love her. Has she ever done conventions? Her?
She
Oh,
did, yeah.
Yeah.
We've had we actually interviewed both of them back in the
Is
day,
she
but
still alive?
she actually passed away like a year or two ago. She had cancer. But man, she would do photo ops and everything still had the same wig, which that was her wig she was in Sharky's Machine, I think was the movie, and it was the exact same wig. She was like a prostitute in that movie.
Oh.
And just used it and put a little dirt in it and become the redneck, hateful Ethel Hubbard.
Yeah, she's
But,
great, man. She's
But
great.
that movie is so much fun. It's a
It really is.
the exploitation film. It has that feel. And I think what I had said to Joe, I believe the director was a porn director, wasn't he?
Danny Steinman.
Yeah, I think he directed some
Yep.
porn, and it has the feel of a porn,
What's weird is he actually directed Savage Streets as well. And those movies, like Savage Streets is really more of it is exploitation as well, but it's shot very stylish, has it looks like a totally different, maybe
Yeah,
used a
it's
different cinematographer or something.
Yeah, it don't seem as. I mean, there's a couple of sleazy scenes, but it's not. I wouldn't say fully sleaze. Like,
I think it's polished way more than Friday 5. But that's another great movie too that people don't talk about enough. Great soundtrack in that one as well.
yeah, Savage Streets. Yeah,
Yep.
we covered. We did talk about that one time.
Also, Dirk, I've got your stuff boxed up, and I want to mail it out tomorrow, man. We're doing some trade skis.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That'll work. Yeah, I haven't seen Crocodile, so I got to have all the Martino I can get.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of warned a little bit about Crocodile, but it's not that bad. I actually kind of had fun with it. The Blu-ray looks killer. Like, of course, Synapse did it. It looks great.
Synapse, yeah, that's all you had to say. Their Blu-rays look like 4K, though. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a 4K. It really does. I was watching the Friday the 13th remake in 4K. And do you all like that remake from 09?
I don't mind it. It don't bother me.
It's been so long since I've seen it. It's one I need to revisit because one of the Frightmares I went to when I went there with my sister, you know, that's but Derek Mears was on our floor, so we rode the elevator with Derek Mears several times and just shooting the shit with him, you know, and talking to him, you know, and I hadn't seen the movie yet, but I knew who he was. You know, I knew he played Jason. But he was so cool. He was just the nicest guy in the world.
Oh, yeah. Very cool guy. I feel bad that he only got to play Jason that one time. He did a great job.
I thought he did too, man.
Yeah.
I really did. I liked it. I liked how the Jason was. There's certain characters in the film kind of aggravating as hell, but I like how quick he was and shit like that, man. He's brutal.
Big. Like, he basically looks like Jason before he even puts any of the stuff on. Like, he's already bald, big, bulky guy.
He's got
really tall.
He's got that alopecia that, you know, the hair won't grow. I think your fingernails, you don't have fingernails. Mm-hmm. Kind of like it was the guy from Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah.
Huckleberry.
Yeah. It's got that no hair will grow, fingernails won't grow, that kind of thing. Alopecia. Maybe he's kind of talking. He was talking about that a little bit with some folks that were visiting with him at the table. But he was just the nicest guy, Derek Mears. But yeah, we was on the same floor with him, so I went 4 or 5 times we rode the elevator with him.
Yeah, very nice guy for sure.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. You got that arrow. Look good.
It does look really good, but I know that sometimes people complain about 4Ks being really dark, and this is one of those. Like, I did notice it being very dark in certain spots. I was going to ask you all, though, about, and I don't know where this trend started, but movies around this time period, everybody had a fucking underground lair where they would keep their victims or their...
Oh, yeah.
What the hell? Like... Was anybody ever freaked out by people in underground, like, bunkers and lairs and shit? And what started that? Where did that come from?
What
is it Saw? I mean, that's all.
I don't know. Texas Chainsaw 2 has got an underground lair, doesn't it?
Yeah, but that was a little bit before the underground lair boom, though. It might have been the one that inspired it, possibly. Yeah. Like, House of 1,000 Corpses. That's another one that's in an underground lair.
Okay.
I'd forgot really about Jason having an underground lair in the Friday the 13th remake.
I remember people were pissed off when that first came out. They were like, well, it kind of, you know, they're like, because one side of the argument was like, well, it explains how he gets around so fast instead of teleporting and shit.
Well, of course. He just jumps down in his lair and hangs out for a minute.
Right. But, yeah, man. Lair of the White Worm. You ever seen that?
Oh, man. I used to have a poster for Lair of the White Worm when that house I used to share with my friend, Mark. I had a big, I think at the video store, got the Lair of the White Worm poster. I had that hanging on my door. I've seen that movie one time, but like I say, it's a movie that's been forever since I've seen it.
Yeah, what is it? What was the director? What was his name? Russell. Ken Russell. Mm-hmm. Who, man, all of his movies is fucking wild.
It has a very weird visual style, that Larry the White Worm. I remember that, but it's like,
All was it Altered States, one of his movies too? Like holy shit! Like
oh
that's
man, I
another
love
one.
Alter
I
States.
love Altered States though.
Yeah, I love Alter States.
Yeah,
Matter of fact, I had y'all review it. Remember?
yeah, we did. We did reviewed that a while back.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one that I've been watching though. That's Synapse. I think it just came out, and nobody knows who this guy is. But I'm gonna try to do a pretty good review to explain it. The guy, he's an independent filmmaker, Jay. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. I don't think many people have. His name is Blake Eckerd, and they did a special DVD. Synapse released a DVD of 2 of his feature films. So this guy is in the middle of nowhere in Missouri, in a town less than 1,000 people, and he and his friends made these movies starting back in the early 2000s. And these movies aren't horror movies. He's a horror fan. They are the closest thing I can describe. I watched one of them and I'm like, this isn't too fucking bad. I mean, it's odd. It's very weird. It's like almost like an independent version of like Blue Velvet or something. Like,
Oh wow.
the plot, not really a linear plot, but yeah, just looking at these, it's a character sort of movie, and for literally no budget. I don't know what in the hell he filmed this shit on. It's kind of like, I think Jay, you would be very interested in checking this guy's story out, because
Blake Eckerd.
Blake Eckerd's, and I know Christian Day, who back in the day, the Dead Pit Board did a documentary on this guy, like I think a 30-minute documentary, because a lot of more known filmmakers are fans of him, and nobody knows who he is. That's the thing. Like, he never caught on really or got famous or anything. But these movies surprisingly are not bad. They're pretty well made movies, and typically low budget movies. Most of the time it's low budget horror movies or something. Like, I've never heard of somebody doing like a drama, just a kind of a mind fuck of a movie, a David Lynch movie in low budget. But it kind of worked. I mean, the name of the movie is weird. It's called Bubba Moonface. And
Holy shit. Oh
But-
man.
Do you know if it's like streaming anywhere?
you might be able to find it on YouTube. It's probably on YouTube.
That's great. Bubba Moonface. Holy shit.
Bubba
Man,
Moonface.
I think that would sell. What the
Well, that's one of them in that set, that Synapse, a DVD. It's not really a set, it's one DVD.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, wait for the review of that too, because I may watch the other movie. There's 2 movies on it, and it's just an interesting story to me that this guy would never discover anything, but had just this natural ability to get together with his friends who aren't really actors. And it worked. Like, even the acting worked in it. I don't know what in the hell. Like, I guess they were just really comfortable around each other.
Just passionate as hell. Like two
Yeah.
brothers.
Yeah.
That's killer.
But yeah, I was going to mention that to Jay because I know, you'd get a kick out of that story and everything. You can
Well, yeah,
almost kind of relate to it, I guess.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing that, particularly these days, and we've talked about this before, Wes, is that you can make movies for no money. I've made 3 films the last 5, 6 years, and they've cost almost literally nothing to make. You just get people together, get cameras now. Shoot
Right.
high definition. I shoot in high definition. Now I got a 4K camera. Now that costs about $500 to get, but as far as
Hell, people shooting on their phones now.
yeah, but
Mhm.
people got a high definition camera on in their damn pocket.
Yeah.
And there's been movies released that were shot on like iPhones and shit.
Yep.
All you need is just some imagination and just tell your story. You don't have to spend hardly any money to tell a story.
I don't know what it is, though, but unfortunately, like, the creativity just isn't, it doesn't seem like it's there as much as it was. Like, I don't know what, because everything's at people's disposal. I mean, if you've got an iPhone, you can film a fucking movie. You can do it.
Mhm.
Well, and that's something that I have decried this for years. I've talked about this on the other show I used to do. We talked about this frequently. Yeah. Uh, but
The
that
other show.
everyone,
What
you know,
show? What?
enough said. But everyone seems to be worried about offending people. You
Yeah.
can't take. It's like they won't take chances. You know, it's back in the day that motherfuckers, they were making their movies. They just told their story. They didn't give a fuck if you got offended.
Right.
They're going to tell their story and tell it their way they want to tell it. And then you decide when you watch the movie whether you're going to love the movie or hate the movie or be offended by it. But they put it out there. And that's something now. It's like you said, Dirk, you got to check all these boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to represent all these different people, different,
Yeah.
you gotta make sure you have a gay person in it. You gotta make sure you have an ethnic person in it. You gotta make sure you have this or that. You gotta check all these boxes. You gotta represent everybody, and you certainly can't offend anybody. That's like the worst crime you can commit is offending somebody.
Right. I say it all the time, man. Like, I'm offended by the easily offended. Like, I just don't.
Right.
That's what offends me.
Well,
You're getting offended over every damn thing.
something else that I don't like either is like cancel culture, and that's a big thing now too.
Yeah.
Where, and essentially, like my wife and I was talking about it too. I mean, I'm not saying this stuff never happened,
Right.
but like somebody like Matt Lauer, who somebody made an accusation,
Yeah.
gone. He was fucking erased.
Just because somebody
like
said something. Yeah.
Somebody said something. He never got in trouble or anything. And that sort of thing, that's bullshit, man. I think if somebody did it, if they're found guilty for it, there you go. I mean, get rid of them or whatever. But just one accusation out of nowhere and then they're gone, like, I don't know, man. And you're seeing that a lot, really.
Yeah, definitely. Like hell, we just covered that Polanski film, right? Like, he's one. I mean, I know that's, a lot of people.
Well, what was it? It was about, 4 or 5 years ago. What was it? James Gunn, with some shit he had said on the internet or something like that.
Like 7 or 8 years earlier. I think he dug it up.
To take him off the film and all that, and all the actors and stuff pulled together and said, look, we're going to leave. If you fire him, we're going to pull out. And so they brought him back, But yeah, they were going to cancel him over some shit he did 100 years ago, or said, whatever.
I heard something recently about Stephen King. They're pulling his books from schools, especially It, because of the like.
I wouldn't have even thought that Stephen King books would be in schools.
Well, and that's one thing I'll say, because I love Stephen King. He's my favorite author. I'm reading Stephen King now. I'm reading his about the guy that goes back in time to try to prevent the Kennedy assassination. What was it? 11/23/63, I think. I'm reading that now. But at the end of it, you got these kids that basically gang fuck this.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I could kind of understand that. They're promoting a
But
preteen gangbang there.
He's mad as hell. Like,
and that's going, I will admit, that was going a little far. When you read it, it goes into such detail, and it's like, Stephen, come on now. I wouldn't cancel him because of it, but it's like,
I don't think he's getting canceled. They just removed, I think, 23 of his books from public schools, and I was like, damn. But yeah, pretty.
It was pushing it, that part in the book.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. That's why it's not in the movie.
No, and it's not in the TV show.
But Jay, man, I just wanted to hop on here for a little bit, wish you a happy birthday and everything.
Well,
And,
thank you, Wes. And yeah, we'll probably wind this up. Where it's 9:30 my time. I guess on Dirk's time too, because Dirk is
Yeah,
on.
y'all been going at about what 2.5 hours? That's a long show.
It's been a good one. We have with Joe on there and such. But yeah, this has been a real good one, and I certainly appreciate y'all for showing up. And yeah, plug your show again. Was it tomorrow, Wes? What y'all going to do?
Yeah, tomorrow at 10 p.m. It is Friday the 13th Lives is the name of the show. Literally, probably 80 or 90 different characters from the Friday the 13th movies.
Holy
It's going to
shit.
be a vast list. So we're going to start that at 10, and then I think on Sunday, Uncle Bill and Garrett are going to start their series of shows on. Do you guys remember this? Bravo's 100 Scariest Movie Moments. 20 years.
Yeah.
Since
Cool,
the show debuted. They're doing a kind of a retrospective on the list.
I remember that back in the day too. Yeah. On Bravo.
Yeah.
That's cool. But happy birthday again, Jay, man.
And Dirk, before we sign off, of your subjective perspective collective, what you guys are going to be talking about?
We're going as deep as we can go, in depth on Dario Argento's Opera, 1987. It's Darren's favorite film of all time, and man, there's a lot to talk about. Pretty crazy.
It's a pretty great one.
Yeah.
Well, that's like I say, that's one that there's so many of them kind of films, particularly those giallo films and stuff. I need to catch up on, and Opera being one of them. I need to check see if it's streaming on Tubi.
It probably is. Tubi has like everything.
Yeah, that'll be Sunday, probably around 8 Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for showing up, and this has been a really good one. Thank you for helping me celebrate my birthday, 59 fucking years.
Yeah, man.
I can't believe that shit, but it's true. It's reality.
Age is only a number, Jay. It's just a number.
That's right.
I've got to face reality. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Y'all go check out their shows and what they're doing. And thank everyone that showed up in the chat. And y'all have a happy Friday the 13th tomorrow.
Yeah, man. Y'all take care.
We'll do this again soon. Thank you, guys.
See you guys.
All right.